Hey guys, so today I decided to make a video about tips with an NJ tube and kind of life with that. I also threw in some funny moments when that have to do with the feeding tube, and so this is just all about the feeding tube and some fun stuff that I've learned with it over my experience with it. So let's go. She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? Will you take care of me? So, as most of you know, I have a surgery coming up that will hopefully make it I'll be able to eat again. So with that in mind, I will no longer need the NJ tube. So it's an NJ tube that goes from here to my small intestines into my jejunum. So it completely passes my stomach and everything that's irritated with that. The condition I have actually still is affected by small intestines and all of that, but it's not as much. I'm not as much pain when I'm on the feeding tube than I am eating. So firstly, I wanted to show you the different ways that you can tape it. So I started off right after a shower. I've got some old tape I'll take off, and I had no makeup on whatsoever, but my skin was clean, so I was just gonna start off that way. And I was gonna pull my hair up, use a headband as well, and then I realized my mom stole my hair tie. And so I went over, got a new one, and I've taped several hairs several times with the Tegaderm, and so I've learned that I just kind of need to have my hair completely back. Others, talented and skilled people don't, but that's just how I have to work. So when I first got the tube, I would be really careful and slowly pull the tape off, and now I'm just going for it because I don't know, I don't got the time for that. And lately I have not been using any Duoderm at all, and so yes, I do have a little line, and that's alright as long as your skin's not sensitive. So I'll just tape it somewhere differently, not that low part. So I liked it better higher, so I'm going to tape it higher, and that just gives that piece of skin a break. I use some Tegaderm. That's just normal, and I cut it in half because you don't need a whole piece. That's the other half, and it kind of splits, so you got to be careful when you're using that kind. So yeah, I just put it on, and make sure to not get it quite next to the crease of your nose because that is so greasy. It will just come up no matter what I've done. I cannot get it to stick, so I always just do above the line right there, and then I have a little space between my nose so that the tape stays on. And that's how I've been doing it lately. This way I'm out of Duoderm, and so once again I'm doing it above the line, and it's kind of like a foam stuff a nurse gave me. So I just measured it with my finger, put it on, and this stuff is really good because it never leaves me a mark. Duoderm sometimes does leave a mark, but yeah. Once again, leave a gap. This is something for someone who might have extra greasy skin like me. A nurse showed it to me. It looks like an alcohol wipe, but you pull it out and it's foam, and you can see it's kind of wet. And you put it on, and it's really, really strong. You can smell it. But just let it dry off a bit when you put it on because it's kind of like a liquid. And it leaves your skin dry and almost sticky. And so these are two tapes that we found that we've tried out, and so I'm just going to show you how they work. This first one, I don't rip in half, I rip in 2/3 because half is a little too small. And a lot of people just use tape like this. I do it when I can, but I don't like to do it all the time because it's kind of more obvious. This tape my mom likes a lot. She was a paramedic, and so it's super strong and it's super sticky, but it leaves weird wrinkles there because it doesn't bend very well with your skin. And it also really hurts to take off because it's super strong. And all of these methods also work if your tube doesn't reach your ear. My first tube didn't, and it used to pull in my eye a bit, so I would just get the really strong tape and only put it on the side there. So this is how I wear my tube. I just have it tucked in my shirt, and then all the excess slack I tuck in through where the two zippers meet. I just have it where my hands can reach, and it's easily accessible. If you need to, you can just slide it out, and it kind of got me in the eye. But I used to wear it on the outside like that, and then one day I had a dog treat, and I bent over, and the dog wanted the treat, and boom. So that pulled out my tube instantly, the whole thing gone. But it's been snagged all sorts of places when I wear on the outside, so it's just kind of a bad idea, in my opinion at least. Whatever works for you, obviously, but it's really easy just to put in. It's less noticeable that you have a feeding tube, if that's a thing you want, and it's safer, so. This is just a real quick video that shows the setup of my backpack. There's the pump. It has a nice little window kind of thing. Most people get the backpack with the pump. That's what I did. There's 2 clamps for the food bag because some setups have a water bag as well, but it holds a lot of food, as you can see. Some setups, it will flush the tube for you. You don't have to, so that's why they have a water bag, but mine's just food. I also have an emergency Tegaderm and a lollipop because your mouth gets bored. And one last tip, at night when you charge your pump, instead of disassembling everything and putting it on the pole, I just hang it on my backpack. I also wanted to show you some funny moments with the feeding tube and things that I've come across, so I'm sure you will too. Like when you swallow and you can feel it move and you're like, what just happened? Okay. Or when you stretch your neck and it like pulls on the inside and you're like, what? And then for the next like 5 minutes, every move you make like feels super weird on the tube. Or when you first get your tube and you're flushing it out and it's like cold and running down your throat and it feels like you're drinking but you're not even swallowing and you're just like amazed and baffled and like freaking out. I have to take salt capsules, and whenever I take them, they stick to my tube and like drag them down my throat. So for the next few minutes, I feel like I have to swallow a lot, but it also feels like my tube is being pulled down my throat. So for the next few minutes, I just kind of casually stand there and act like everything's normal. Sometimes it looks like my backpack is a ukulele case, and I'm like, what? It's a pump. It has my food. Yeah, I'm just hauling around a ukulele for no reason. Then there's that moment of heart-stopping fear when it's like having a hard time pushing in and you're flushing it and you don't want it to be clogged. I had a tube that was clogged and it was so sad. And you're just going through denial and you're freaking out and you're freaking out and you're like, please don't be true, don't be happening. Oh, and then it finally goes through and you're like, yes. Or when you flush too fast and it happens to me literally every day, and I walk around with water all over my shirt. Or when a sweet soul thinks you're on oxygen. It's a feeding tube. I get food from it. I'm not breathing with it. Or when it snags. And that is it. Hopefully it was helpful, if not at least entertaining. Thank you so much for watching. I will be making some videos about packing for surgery maybe, and just vlogging from the surgery, so I will see you guys next week. Bye!